Hello there, I'm Joshua Cho, and welcome to this month in movies. Today we're looking at the DVD and Blu-ray releases of July 2015. So why don't we get right into it?
Let's get to it.
Like I always say, this is Australian releases, so in America there will be a few different films that you'll be getting or won't be getting as well. And this is also just the films that I recommend. There are other movies that come out this month, but I just wasn't really a fan of them, or they just weren't good enough to make this list, even though I might have thought they were alright. And so, why don't we just get started with Kingsman, The Secret Service. I enjoyed Kingsman immensely. It was just energetic, bombastic. It had a sadistic sense of humor and was just a kind of a breath of fresh air. It's definitely for the entertainment value more than for the story or the writing, because they aren't exactly that unique. It was more that the fact that this kind of film got an R rating or MA in Australia, and was just able to go all out with its insanity and its violence as well. And they just had a good cast. Taron Egerton was fantastic as the lead. You had Colin Firth, Mark Strong, Samuel L. Jackson with a lisp. And so I thought it was really, really well done, even though the territory has been rather worn out. But in the end, I ended up giving it 4 stars when I saw it, and I still stand by that. It was really entertaining, really enjoyable, and I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you are a fan of Matthew Vaughn and the films he has made before.
Put it back.
Next, for the first week of July, we have the Spongebob movie, Sponge Out of Water.
The Spongebob movie, A Sponge Out of Water, in 3D.
I think it'll definitely play more for the kids and the adults, but it's very self-aware, very meta, and it's pretty fun and ridiculous, and definitely some stuff in it which do feel kind of druggy, but in the end, it does feel like a SpongeBob episode, and that's what I liked, because I enjoyed the show. And though it does feel more like an extended episode than it does a movie, it still is fun and enjoyable, and Antonio Banderas is having a lot of fun, even though you'd expect him to be in something else rather than this. But it didn't blow me away, but I had a good enough time, and I think kids will definitely enjoy it, and there's enough jokes in there for the adults as well, so I give it 3.5 stars.
I'm seeing a bright light.
Is this better?
Much. Thank you.
For the second week of July, we have nothing. I would not recommend anything that comes out in the second week of July. So let's skip to the third week of July, and we have It Follows. It Follows is definitely going to be in my top 10 list of the year. I'm quite certain, and it's at the moment it's probably number 4 of my favorites so far this year, and I just thought it was fantastically directed by David Robert Mitchell, and I think he did a wonderful job emulating John Carpenter's style and making a film that feels so unique and original in the well-worn horror genre. And it also manages to kind of like poke fun at horror cliches, but not in a self-referential kind of or meta way. It kind of pokes fun at it, but also embraces it at the same time, and I found that really enjoyable. And we have a great cast with the wonderful lead in Micah Monroe, who I'm really becoming a fan of her work. She's been in a few films, and I just think she's a really strong actress, and I look forward to seeing more from her. This film was gorgeously shot, and I love the soundtrack, so I'd highly recommend this film. It is a fantastic horror movie, and if you're a horror fan, or if you have been kind of disappointed by the horror movies we have been getting lately, this is a film to check out, because it is absolutely fantastic. I gave 4.5 stars when I saw it. I stand by that. I've seen it twice in theaters. I'm looking forward to owning it on Blu-ray.
Wherever you are, it's somewhere walking straight for you.
Next, for the third week of July, we have Maggie. Now, I actually haven't seen this film yet. It didn't get a cinema release in Australia, but it's Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a serious role and apparently giving quite a fantastic performance, apparently. And this zombie movie that is very different to most zombie movies, but the film itself has gotten a bit of mixed reviews. Not anything amazing, not anything terrible, but more just like, it's a cool idea, the actors do good, but they could have done a lot more, is more of the reaction that I've been hearing. But I'm really curious to check it out.
I made a promise to your mother that I will protect you.
Now for the fourth week of July, we have Big Eyes. Tim Burton's return to form, though it's not among his best films. It is a really good film, especially since he hasn't done a good film for quite a few years now. And I enjoyed it quite a bit with a brilliant performance from Amy Adams, who was absolutely fantastic and lovely in this film. And Christoph Waltz hams it up, but apparently he's not as hammy as the real guy was. People would think that Christoph Waltz was overacting, but apparently he was underacting compared to how the real guy was. So, but anyway, I just thought it was a really well-made film with nice cinematography, a pretty good script, and good music. So I gave this film 3.5 stars when I saw it, and I stand by that.
The eyes are the windows of the soul. That's why I paint them so big. I've always done it that way.
Next we have Inherent Vice. Paul Thomas Anderson's latest film has been declared a masterpiece by some, a terrible film from others, and for me it was pretty good. Wasn't amazing, didn't blow me away, didn't engage me like The Master did, but I did enjoy it for its style. The actors are absolutely great. I love Joaquin Phoenix, and I love the kind of era and the way that he captured it in this film, because it looks like this film could have been shot back in the 70s. Even though it still looks great for a film for today, Robert Elswit's cinematography is great, and the score's fantastic, and it's definitely not for mainstream audiences. It's definitely slow and very dense, but I enjoyed the film for the most part and had a good time with it. And Joaquin Phoenix's character and performance is enough to like keep you with the film, even when you are kind of losing track of who's who and what the story is going to next. Overall, I thought it was a really good film, and I just enjoyed it, even though narratively it is a bit confusing, a bit dense, and a bit all over the place. So, but I gave it 4 stars when I saw it, and I stand by that. I enjoyed it.
Good luck, Doc.
Next, for the 4th week of July, we have 71. Now, this is a film that I got to see last year at a festival, but it didn't come out till this year in most countries and theaters, and I found it quite fantastic. I enjoyed the heck out of this film and thought it was really, really well made. Jan Damage did a very, very great job of creating tension and build-up, and the fact that this is also set during the whole Irish ethno-nationalist struggle, and it is a very kind of paranoia-inducing and intense film with a fantastic performance from Jack O'Connell, who I'm looking forward to seeing more from with like this and Startup. He's been doing great work, and the cinematography is good, the music's great, and it just creates an atmosphere that is perfect for the period it's set. And I just thought it was a really, really great film, and when you watch it, you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, and there's a lot of subtext going underneath it all as well. So I gave this film 4.5 stars when I saw it last year, and I stand by that.
I'll be fine. Promise you.
Also, for the 4th week of July, we have the re-release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on Blu-ray. It's out of the Disney Vault again, so if you missed it the first time, you can catch it now. It's a classic, and it was Disney's first film, and it's beautifully hand-drawn. Still looks as good as it did back in the day, and it's a timeless story and a timeless film that I know a lot of people love, so you don't really need my thoughts on it. Really, I'm just reminding you guys that, hey, it's out of the vault again, so get it before it goes. And lastly, for the 4th week of July, we have Alex of Venice. Now, this is a film that I actually haven't seen, but I've heard good things from festivals, and it's also the directorial debut of Chris Mencino, who is a great actor, and if you watch the Mini Project, you probably love him too. And so I'm definitely going to check it out when it comes out on home video, and maybe you might be interested as well.
Look at your life. It's a mess.
And now for the last week of July, we have Top 5. Now, this is Chris Rock's directorial debut, and he hasn't had the best track record when it comes to movies, but here he does it really well, and it's a really funny and entertaining story, though it's very adult in its content, and he actually knows how to use himself, obviously, because he does his own comedy. This time, instead of having to do other people's scripts, which he usually isn't put to that great use, but here he handles himself really well, And it's a very meta film that it's very enjoyable and entertaining, even though there are lots of contrivances in the plot, and it's not really anything fresh or new, but the characters and just like the way they do the humor and the dialogue is really well done, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, so I gave it 3.5 stars.
Black man trying to get a cab in New York City. Haha, watch this. Taxi, taxi, yeah!
And lastly for July we have Slow West, which is a movie I haven't seen. Unfortunately, it didn't get a cinema release in Australia, though I know it did premiere in a festival at Sydney. But unfortunately, I don't live in Sydney, so I didn't get to go see it. But I'm really looking forward to this film. I believe it was shot in New Zealand. It have Michael Fassbender and Cody Smith-McPhee. And I just heard great things from Sundance and other festivals it's been at, so I'm really keen to check it out. And maybe you are too, or if you haven't heard of it, check out the trailer. It looks really, really good. And you also have Ben Mendelsohn, who's just been knocking it out these past few years and is just a great Australian actor. So that's all the time we have for today. If you could see any of these films that I talked about and have any thoughts on it, feel free to comment below to let me know if you liked it or not, or if there are any other films that came out this month that I didn't recommend that you did like. Let me know. We can start a discussion about it. You can also like my Facebook page, comment there, follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe. But anyway, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and just on the films that are coming out in Australia this month. There's definitely different films coming out in America, and some of these films won't be coming out in America or other countries as well. But anyway, I'm just Rachel. This is Jared Productions. Let's get out there and watch good movies.